All right, class, settle down. Class is in session. Everyone get to your seats. Hey there, YouTube. I'm Yukitsu. This is the Yukitsu Times. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Rimworld. This is the 10th alpha version, which has been going pretty quickly, honestly. They've been doing this quite voraciously, I would say. So anyway, this one I've done something slightly different, and that's because I've been playing a lot of fairly difficult games lately, and I want to showcase sort of a different way to play this for people who don't necessarily want to have super high levels of optimization. They don't want to survive necessarily in these hard worlds. They don't want to have to dig into a cave or build gigantic walls. They just want to sort of relax and play the game. They just want to build their sort of SimCity up. And this game allows for that. So we're playing on the easiest setting for Cassandra Classic. And this makes it much less harrowing to play this game. It makes it much easier to play this game. We've got all of our little people here, and there's a nice little spot here that's got this geothermal here. There's a little house already set up, and yeah, all in all, this is a pretty nice area if we're not too worried about defense, which we're not because we're on the easiest setting. Now, the easiest setting, you still get attacked, so you can't completely just forget about bad events. You can't just completely ignore that. It's still going to potentially happen, but at the same time, they're going to happen much more rarely, so you're going to be able to neglect them a little bit more, and you're going to have a lot less pressure on you. And, I mean, there's a certain point where you're playing this game, and you've survived all of the nonsense this game has to offer, like crash spaceship parts. You've survived that, and you've survived centipede waves coming in one after the other, and you haven't taken a single, casualty or anything like that. And it gets a little bit stale having to worry constantly about that, and you just kind of want to build your stupid base. You don't want to keep doing that, so you set it on this easy one, and I think that's perfectly acceptable. So we're going to go ahead and start ourselves off with just some wood walls. What we're playing on is a wintry tundra biome, so it's not as tundra-y and cold as it can be, but it is pretty tundra-y and cold. So we're going to talk a little bit about the survival elements in this as well. But we're going to definitely focus a little bit more on sort of, I guess, the sort of more relaxed atmosphere and the new stuff that's in this game, because they have added some stuff. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. And that's a nice, lovely little basic house that we like to make. And again, I don't like going immediately digging into the mountainside, strictly because it is too slow. If you were to play this game, it is just super, super slow if you're trying to make it so that people are all living indoors and that's your first house. You need to build a little hut or something at least to make it feasible. And I mean, you kind of don't want it to just be that sort of nonsense. You want to make sure that people are capable of looking after themselves. So I much prefer this build where I get some very basic structures up first of all, and then start working on other things, potentially digging into the mountains if I'm on a harder difficulty. But again, we're here to relax. We're here to build a nice village or something like that. We're here to do that sort of thing. So we're gonna go ahead and build our kitchen area. This is going to be our eating area, dining area. We're going to double thicken this wall here. We're going to make ourselves a double thick-walled fridge. And this just helps with the insulation a little bit. And it's going to go to here, like that. One of the things you want to do with a fridge area is an airlock, so we're even going to go like this. Honestly, this might be a little bit too much wood. This might be a little bit excessive. Build a door there, a door there. What we can do is we can cancel this. And what's going to happen is that cold air is going to be stored in these little airlocks. This should be relatively okay in terms of keeping in heat. And I'm not too afraid of running out of wood in this particular biome. We'll put our kitchen area in there where we're going to be making our meals. And we need, of course, to put in doors and all of this. So we're going to put, obviously, a door to access the kitchen area. We want a door to access our farming for this sort of building, so we'll go ahead and we'll put that in here. And we'll make sure to put in... What we can do is we can put it like this. And then we can cancel this door here. And so these actually just make it so that it's a little bit less cold air escaping. And I mean, it doesn't matter as much, but I've sort of liked adopting this pattern when I'm playing this game for that particular use. So this is going to be a fairly lengthy building to sort of make, but we got the time, we got sort of the resources available around us. Like, we got plenty of trees, I feel. Not as many as I honestly could have gotten, in this, but it's much more than if we started desert, where you just start with, like, no trees. Okay. So, let's go ahead and go with furniture as well. I like how the armchair defaults to Devil Strand now. Got, like, one person just sleeping on the ground over there, that's hilarious, but, alright. They're all just sleeping on the ground. Okay, so I should have built the beds before I built this stuff, but you know what, whatever. That is perfectly acceptable to me. Let's go ahead and order more chopping of wood. I mean, it's relatively mild out, and it is dry out, so, like, sleeping on the ground is not going to screw them over that badly. And, I mean, they're not even prioritizing the beds. One of the things I've started really taking advantage of is the fact that your characters have, like, near immunity to, like, sanity loss in the very, very early game. So you can actually get them into a pretty lousy situation for quite some time before you really have to start worrying about their sanity. And I've started to really appreciate that fact. What I can also do, if I really want to, is just go sleeping spot. And that'll help a little bit, hypothetically. We can deconstruct those later, obviously. It's not an issue. But what we're also... Oh, there's someone vomiting. I think someone's got sickness from like, the characters will get a little bit sick when they jump in on this place. So we're going to go ahead and create a growing zone. We're just going to build our growing zone out to here. And we're going to make strawberries early on, just because, like, they've added this as a kind of stopgap, I think, for the early game, where you're just like, okay, well, we can just have this, and they will quickly be able to eat it right away, because unlike potatoes, you don't have to cook them, and they'll be relatively fine. Okay, so it's saying I need a meal source, which is true, but that's also fine. I think part of the problem is, let's check our overview here. Okay, I want everyone to be able to construct, if possible, so it's fine by me if everybody is constructing. We do have a lot of wood, actually, so... Yeah, quite a bit of our wood was, like, available, so they were cutting it, which is good, but, one of the things that you could do is you can wait till they actually finish the bedrooms and then, like, queue up everything else, which is probably the smarter idea. Ed is going to lock himself into an area, which is going to be awful, but whatever. What I can do is cancel this, and that will stop anyone from locking themselves into some sort of strange containment hell. Alright, so all our bedrooms are now appropriately ready. We can deconstruct our sleeping areas. Ed has decided to not sleep yet. Ed is apparently a woman. Alright, well, whatever. I think Ed was meditating. So one of the things that they've added in patch 10 is that characters now have to entertain themselves. They have to have fun somehow, in addition to their normal track of things. So if you go into Joy over here, we've got this steel horseshoe spin here. Crash Town. I don't know. A bit of happiness. I like that song. So, anyway, let's go ahead and deconstruct these other sleeping spots, because obviously we don't need them anymore. And hopefully we're going to be able to finish off this colony basic stuff today. I think we might be able to. But in particular, we kind of need people to get into farming a little bit. We still got some food sources, so I'm not, like, super hyper worried or anything like that, because there's still quite a few packed meals here. But, yeah, that would be lovely if they would get on that. Alright. So we've just about got enough wood for everything, so that'll be fine. And people have some pretty nice bedrooms, which is good. Alright. So we've got a very thick-walled fridge area, which is going to be fine. We'll have to have the hot air vent into somewhere like Bazaar, but I'll figure that out a little bit later, which is fine. I just want to... visitors, okay, we don't care about that. That is perfectly fine by me. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to zone stockpiles here. We're of course going to zone our food stockpile in here. Let's go and disable everything except for medicine. We don't want raw resources except for... yeah, that's all of those. Hops, right. We don't mind activating hops in here. We want to take off manufactured, if I recall. Yes. Oh, medicines we want to keep, so we need to do this like that. And food, we want meals and raw food there, that's fine. We don't want to allow rotten. We don't want to allow items. We don't want to allow corpses other than animal. What's a... they've changed this, actually. What's human like? Allow colonists, allow corpses. Okay, we don't want to allow any human corpses. But we do want to allow animal corpses, so we're going to check that off. We don't need to refrigerate mechanoids because they're made out of metal. And, yeah, we can allow buried, but that's never going to come into play. Alright, so that should be everything. Good. Okay. So, one of the other things that they've added is they've added in, to needs, for example, they've actually added this, joy... or they've added a lot to this UI here, which is quite nice, but they've also got this joy meter, which I'm going to have to start working on. Like, these people will eventually start doing things to make themselves happy, just to entertain themselves, but until then, like, we also can do something like build this horseshoes thing, which is going to take us 15 steel, but it's going to be something we can do. We can just throw it down here, which is fine. We don't want to worry too much about that right now because we obviously can't really do a whole lot with our characters for joy or any advanced infrastructure. That's perfectly fine by me. We can, however, go ahead and get this solar generator. And what we can do is put down a battery here. And what we want is production. We want a wooden butcher table. We don't want to waste steel here. And what we can do as well is a cook stove. Now this particular colony doesn't have anyone with 6 cooking, so we'll have to level them up first with our lower level meals that we could be getting. But that's perfectly fine, so that's acceptable. Let's check on this guy's gear. So he's got, again, deteriorating clothes. That's, again, a thing. Ed looks like she's praying. I think that's what she's been doing. It's just like she prays a lot. So her joy is actually going to be going up just a little bit here. And you can see that that joy meter is increasing. So I think that this character actually has a specific trait that makes her pray a lot. But, you know, that's sort of up to each individual character. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up just a little bit. And we're also going to go ahead and order more chopped wood. Oh, we actually have plenty of chopped wood. So no one's gardening at all. I do want that to start now. We're going to switch our cook up to the person who's actually competent-ish at it. I didn't think we had someone who was at 7 cooking. What the hell's going on here? Ed, do you actually have a 7 cooking? Ed. Character. Oh, you did have a 7 cooking. Okay, well, whatever. I thought we didn't have that. Alright. So, yeah, either way, though, we need someone who's, we need everyone on growing as well as the other things that we have going on. I like how they've sort of defaulted to the people who are not good at certain things are the ones who are queued up first to do it, which is kind of hilarious to me. And Dade is just sleeping outside her colony. He's just like, I'm just gonna crash here, guys. I hope you don't mind. And we're just like, well, there's nothing we can do to stop you, so... Alright, so let's go ahead and build ourselves a dumping stockpile zone. We're just going to build a dumping stockpile over here or something like that, and that will be perfectly fine. It can have anything it wants. A mad animal. So as you can see, even in the earliest of difficulties, it doesn't really make a difference as far as, like, attacks goes. It's, or like, the types of attacks still happen as they do, and you still get attacked. Alright. There we go. We haven't actually got our butcher table up and running yet, which is a bit of a shame. because we could totally butcher the squirrel and eat it. But whatever. Bills. I'm going to go add a bill. We can only cook simple meals right now, but we're going to build up to 10. And we also need our... Well, let's deconstruct that. Okay. And what we want to do here is we need to go into temperature, add our cooler. They've added vents now, which is quite interesting, but that doesn't really help for this situation here, since we don't need vents in our fridge. That just means that food, like, temperature comes out of our fridge, which is not what we want. So this is a much more sealed fridge design than the ones I've used in my previous playthroughs. But, like, at the same time, I probably don't need to do it in this particular playthrough, since we're in a cold environment, so it's a little bit unnecessary to do it like this. Alright, so let's get power to it. And that's going to be perfectly fine. Okay. And we're starting to get our growing up, so that's going to get us a little bit of food, as it were. A wanderer joined us. Okay, well, I guess we need a new bed. So you get to sleep in this mysterious dungeon that we found. And we'll put that there. So, Wanderer Joins is an event that actually happens in all difficulties, but is more common in the easier difficulties, just because, like, you don't get attacked as often, so it's harder for it to naturally grow. So we got someone named Manabu, who is apparently this gigantic fat guy who is just standing out here doing horseshoes and then falling asleep on the ground. You are a useless villager. Okay, so, like, entertainment is something that they've added to the game, and it's sort of a weird thing. I'm not really 100% sure what I think about it, but let's see here. Do forever, and we'll just allow that to happen. This we need to change up, so we want this to be at -9 or thereabout. Is fine. I find that pretty good for fridge systems. Ed's gonna go ahead and butcher that squirrel, which is fine. Let's see what we've got this oaf being good at here. He can do hunting. He's probably better at it than the people we've got here. So we might have him set to do that, although he can't actually, he doesn't have a weapon, so that's not the greatest idea. Having him grow, though, would be a great idea. Apparently he's a good smith, he's a good tailor. He's a good miner, so we'll have him do all those things. He's probably a terrible researcher, is my guess. Alright, so that's going to be our new guy's bed. We'll build up a new room in a little bit, but I mean, that's going to be it for now. We want to make sure that our colonists are, like, as happy as we possibly can, obviously. Even though, like, it's not necessarily that easy at this point in the game. I always feel optimistic when I build colonies, even though it's probably not the most reasonable thing to be optimistic about. Let's go ahead and get these. I don't know why I'm building these with steel, but we're doing it, so. Alright, so we're going to need some more steel pretty quickly. We can get some plasteel here. But we don't actually want that, since we want to start mining the stuff that we're going to be using first of all. So we're just going to be mining stuff out of steel, and that's going to be fine for quite a bit. We'll go ahead and just throw down a turret for the hell of it. We'll put it down here. And that should be fine. Because we do, again, want a little bit of defenses. But it's just not as important as it would be otherwise. Alright, and, like, I actually do recommend that if you just want to sort of try out the game, or you want to play the game and relax, and you've played a lot of it, and it's not really... This guy is a lazy son of a bitch. Okay, so are you praying? You're meditating us. Okay, so, like, they do all sorts of things to entertain themselves, make their lives a little bit more tolerable. So it depends on what each individual character feels like doing and what they're sort of all like. Let's go ahead and go into miscellaneous here. Or we're gonna need a building for this. We always do get a building for this. So we want our trade beacon slash whatever. Oh, okay. So that medicine should be able to go into our place, which is fine. We still have low food, which is a problem, especially in a place like this, but whatever. It is growing, so there's nothing more we can really do about it. We're going to go ahead and build a little bit of an office. We'll just build it over on this side here, and we'll build it in a separate building because I kind of want to. We'll use these rocks as our markers. We don't really want to have our people worrying too much about that sort of stuff. And we'll just put a door there, basic door, simple sort of stuff. But we're also going to go ahead and get our miscellaneous stuff, our orbital trade beacon. And what we're going to do is have this sort of from our office to somewhere. So I actually don't need this zone here. How do I delete zones? There we go. Okay, and once that orbital trade beacon gets finished, we can actually redo that. But I'm going to move my dumping stockpile to behind our oaf's house, because I don't think he'll care. He probably will, but I mean, like, you know, whatever. Alright, and we should also expand our housing structure just a little bit. So, the new alpha, it's actually kind of interesting, I think, but it is kind of nice to see that they're still adding content so quickly. And it kind of feels in a certain sense like they've taken a bit longer on this one, but at the same time, like, they keep adding so many content updates. Like, this game has changed so much since I first started playing it. It's kind of amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I really liked a lot of the changes that they made. The one thing I don't like, it does tend to make it harder every time they do it. So, I mean, there is that. Alright, there we go. Let's do that there. And I think there were some deer down here, so we're gonna have someone hunt them. Did I get all those? Yeah, I did. Okay. Like, every time they sort of add a new resource that you have to keep track of, every time they add a new dynamic that you've got to watch out for, it does make the game just a little bit harder, and I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing. I think that's good in a certain sense, but I also kind of hope that they make sure to make the game stay about the same difficulty that it is. I don't want it to get significantly harder than it is. Because it's already fairly challenging, it's already fairly tricky. There's already a lot you have to pay attention to. Forbes, why are you killing stuff and then just, like, leaving the carcass there? Okay, Forbes, you're gonna drag that deer carcass. Zone. There we go. Do that before you go to sleep. And we'll deconstruct this guy's former bed in the morning, which is fine. Oh, he has a steel knife actually on him. That's interesting. Well, okay. There we go. What we could actually have probably done is we could have used that bed as a prisoner bed. We could have remarked it as prisoner, but whatever. Could also do with the extra wood, because, I mean, we've used a lot of it, honestly. Oh, there goes our power lines. Which is a little bit annoying. Let's go ahead and redo our power lines. I only lost one section of it, that's not too bad. And we still haven't got our orbital trade beacon up yet. I don't know if this is in the right spot. Let's cancel that real quick. Let's go with miscellaneous. I think that might have been in the right place. Okay, so we want this somewhere like here. What was that sound? Okay, and we're going to create stockpile. And we're going to go ahead with our structure, and what we're going to do is we're going to have our trade room just back here like you do. And we could make a refrigerated trade room. That would be something we could do in this situation. But I don't really want to. It does take a little bit more resources, and obviously it takes more electricity. Like, we could do that later, but for now I think that we're just going to have a regular trade room. And this will keep the stuff from degrading in the sunlight, obviously. Like, that's sort of the reason that we're making it like this. And we're going to make our wooden door in here. Our comms console is going to be in this building as well. That's in range of our power conduit, so, or our solar panel, so that actually adds to that quite a bit. And we can go into production and we can build ourselves a wooden research table. I want to use wood here because I don't really want to use steel. There we go. So this is our office, and that's going to be where people go to sort of work, is what we're going to use that for. So that is perfectly fine. Yeah, short circuit, that's fine. could have sworn that I said to put down a defensive turret, but it does not seem that anyone has, and it seems like the order is gone, which is a little bit strange, but whatever. Actually, that bang bang sound I think must be hunting, so that's fine. So, how do I think 10 has changed the game? I don't think it's actually changed a whole lot. I think that a lot of it is very similar to what it was before, which I think is a good thing. I don't want them to change the essence of the game up too much. Like, it was a pretty great game before they started messing with it, and they haven't done anything to make it worse, which I'm pretty happy about. So, if they can keep doing, like, updates like this, where it doesn't really break the game or anything, although, like, it does definitely add some new elements to it that make it more difficult sometimes, which, you know, I don't always appreciate. It never feels like it's made the game so hard that I don't want to play it anymore, which is pretty good. Like, I will also play on the harder difficulties. It's just I've been playing a lot of hard games lately. Like, I've actually been playing a lot of Civ on deity level, which is an exercise in frustration for me, since I'm not good enough to beat it on deity level, obviously. Like, that's definitely just some element that makes it more difficult. Oh, shit. This person... add a bill, cook fine meal. We're going to put this up, and we're going to say, do forever. Because you're actually good at this. Alright, Manabu, you're being attacked by a wild squirrel. And there's a raid. Okay, let's just go... Oh, shit. They're landing right goddamn here. Okay, you guys move down here. Where the hell is Ed? Ed is in the kitchen. That is okay. That's not the worst thing. Oh, he landed in our trade section. Okay, we want to run up here then. Let's actually just get Forbes up here with the hunting rifle. There we go. Alright, so that was simple enough. We're going to go ahead and just furniture sleeping spot in here. We're going to mark it for prisoners. And Chili, go ahead and capture this guy here. Looks like he's actually a scientist of some sort, which is pretty interesting to have attacking us with a steel shiv. You would think that they would be smarter than that, scientists, but apparently not. Alright. Okay, so you on draft. Let's check your status here. Prisoner. And you can have medicine. You can have friendly chats, and we can attempt to recruit you, since there's no reason really not to at this point in time. So, again, like, this is not that different from other starts that we've had in terms of difficulty of the attacks that we're facing, which is fine. I mean, that's perfectly acceptable to me. And, like, the early ones are mostly just to get you started in population. That's perfectly fine. Alright. So, I need to find out who's actually a good social character here. That you've got 3, Ed, how are you? 4, Forbes. 4 with a passion for it. So, Forbes I'll probably get to do this. Also, I should make sure that Forbes is our warden. Yes, he is. Okay, good. We need more people on repair duty, it looks like, because it looks like we only have one person who can repair. We actually want everybody to be able to repair. That's one of those things that, like, when it's happening, it's nice to have everybody on board for. And Forbes, we'll get you to head on down there in a second. Relaxing socially, okay. Oh, we have 2 bulk goods traders here. Okay, elk hide that we can sell. We have some squirrel skin we can sell, but there's nothing really that we could really do here other than we could buy some chocolate. We're going to actually go ahead and do a little bit of that. We have a little bit of cash, so we're going to buy some chocolate bars. And this is an interesting item, so we'll go ahead and accept that. And we got some chocolate bars in our trade depot, which are probably going to start melting, but that's something that will have to get dealt with. That is perfectly fine. So, chocolate is a new sort of bulk good that's quite interesting. It's used for increasing happiness. Chili, can you... Okay, that's consume chocolate. Can they not move the chocolate? That's interesting. Well, whatever. So that's probably just gonna sit out there in the rain and get awful, but like, if you've ever had wet chocolate, it is not pleasant. But yeah, that is apparently the way things are. Okay, so let's go ahead and order chop wood. And we're going to order them to also mine this gold up so we can sell it. And that looks like compacted plasteel, so that is fine. So this is a quick look at this. You can see those sort of things that they're doing already. One of the things that I can do here, gear, I forget how to access this, shoot. Back to game, overview. I think it was an overview, actually. Outfits, right, there we go. So Forbes the inventor is currently wearing anything. What we can do is go into manage outfits, and we can go new outfit. And we can call this whatever we want. So we can call this, for example, winter clothes. Or we could call this warm weather. So this is for our warm weather clothes, and people will we'll have our people wear this in warm weather. So they can wear some headgear, personal shields, pants, t-shirts, button-down shirts, dusters. They don't wear jackets, parkas, tribal wear. They can wear armor vests or power vests. So this is an outfit for warm weather. So they'll automatically try to wear clothes that fit this category. If we go into manage outfits, we can go to select outfit, warm weather, and what we can actually also do is make it so that they have a specific range of hit points and quality. So, like, we can make it so that they can only wear things that are at least 75% hit points. So they won't wear things that are sort of frayed and ugly and awful. And we can make sure that they're only wearing things that are sort of like at least good or something like that, or normal might be okay. So this would be an idealized later game outfit. So this is something they've added to make it easier to manage people's clothing, because in the previous version of this game you had to manually change their outfit every single time their clothes started to get a little bit frayed and worn out, and it was pretty bad. Like, that was a pretty awful way to do that system. And I think that it is definitely an improvement now that they've switched it over to what they have, which is you can definitely get a sense of just automated clothing where people are wearing these different outfits that you can sort of easily swap out but just by hitting the manage thing. Although you still do have to manually switch them in that menu during different seasons, so like you have to remember to switch over everybody to warm weather or winter gear depending on the season. Alright, so we've got an area revealed. Oh, that's just over here. That's not relevant at all. Got a little rabbit around there. That's lovely. Alright, so one of the problems that we got here is that we don't have any plants, but an exotic goods trader, that's great, but that's not useful for us right now. So, you know, we're going to ignore that for the most part. And, yeah, let's see how things are going. Looks like everyone has gone straight to bed. Yep. We are still failing to recruit Svegjargard. Someone from Scandinavia is going to point out how awful my attempt at pronouncing that was, but I mean, it's not my fault. I have never tried to pronounce names from there. Someone from Scandinavia is going to point out that's probably not a Scandinavian name, and I just completely offended all the people from over there. So apologies in advance for all the things I'm doing wrong, but no, that's a fairly lengthy list. Let's see if we can get some slave traders passing by. We can't really do anything about that right now, other than we could potentially go ahead and sell Svegjargard. But, I mean, I don't feel like we need to right now, so that would probably not be in our best interest. Does this actually set right? Oh, fine wheel I did not do forever. Okay, so we're gonna do it like that. And this should change her up to doing the, yeah, fine meals. Okay, good. And that is perfectly acceptable. We do need a research project. What we want, of course, in this particular case is going to be geothermal power, since we've got some good access to it. And at this point in time, I mean, we could add in another thing to entertain our people. But one of the other things that we should probably do is actually just haul things, because this is a mess. Like, let's put in a haul order for all of that. Let's put in a haul order for your bedrooms. And that should help things out a little bit. I can extend this dumping stockpile as well, because it's pretty large amounts of stuff that we need to dump. There we go. Perfect. We're not producing enough to store the energy in our batteries effectively or efficiently, so we might need to work on generating more power, but I mean, like, that's going to be a major part of what we're doing with our geothermal anyway, so that's something that we want to rush the technology for. Ed looks like she's praying again, which is fine. And you can see that these people are relatively happy anyway, and the thing is, like, if they actually increase their joy enough, they end up being quite good on mood from that, although she apparently isn't able to do that just yet. So, that's something. We'll disable one of these for now. And then she'll just start butchering those so that we will actually focus on the things that we can build, so. Got some people passing by, that's fine. One of the problems with having this room refrigerated this much is that it is probably actually a little bit too cold for the purpose right now, so we're going to actually change it to -1. And the reason is, like, I just remembered, we don't actually have enough clothes for Ed here to be warm in this sort of situation, so we're going to go ahead without. Who do we actually have for research here? Oops, that's the wrong button. This one. Research. We've got Ed and Chili, so we might want to prioritize Chili to doing research, even though Ed looks like she's better. Ed looks like she's just better at everything, so that's kind of the way it's going to be. But yeah, so let's go ahead, hit overview. Let's go ahead and manual priority, and we'll go ahead and hire research Chili the barkeep, so that'll be okay. Since Ed is our chef, that's going to be something that she's just going to be doing perpetually. Can't really get her off of that to do research, since honestly cooking is more important than research in this game. Alright, we got an eclipse that's going to make it so that Ed can't do shit. Well, I guess she can butcher that, yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. And probably haul all of those strawberries back into the fridge, but oh no, they're just going to leave them there to rot. That's fantastic. Our fridge is going to warm up quite a bit, quite quickly, but I mean, this eclipse isn't going to last forever. So, Chili's going to get to work on that. That's fine, that's fantastic. It'd be lovely for us to get that gold into our trade area, but that's also fine. I like how that this has just like the one tile in the center that is open. I don't think anything can land on top of that specific tile with the trade beacon itself. I think that counts as occupied, but I'm not really 100% sure. Like, a good way to test that would be to send him over there. Can he stand on top of that? Yes, he can, actually. Okay, well, let's undraft him. And what we're going to do, just so that there is a proper roof there, is we're going to add some pillars here. And those are just going to be support pillars. Oops. There we go. Let's go ahead in our zoning. There we go. And we also need another growing zone, because we're going to start developing a little bit of a hops farm over here. We don't want potato plant necessarily. What we want back here is going to definitely be... Oops, where is hops? There it is. We could also, of course, do Zergium for the pseudo-medicine, for the weaker medicine, but I mean, honestly, it's better to just wait till you can start buying medicine proper. I think this probably would be faster if I got this guy an actual bed. So let's go ahead and get him a wooden bed. We'll deconstruct the panel on the ground that he's sleeping later, but that's fine for now. And also, we'll probably need a new room soon, so... I mean, we can just build out one more, I think. Actually, let's do it this way. It's a little bit easier. And this is how large I've been making these rooms, so there we go. Easy. Furniture, wooden bed. Then we'll just have it sort of like build a corner room here that's going to be a work area. So this is going to be like a big building that I'm going to be making. This is going to be sort of like a large complex that people are going to live in. It's going to have like a pool room. It's going to be great. But I mean, we got a lot of work to do still, obviously. And yeah, this is just going to be our look through of this game on the new mod, or the new version of it, rather. So I hope you found this enjoyable, and of course we'll get back to this a little bit later. If you're wondering what happened to the other one, well, first off, an addition change happened, but at the same time, like, I don't feel a need to beat Rimworld. That's not really something I get into this game, or get out of this game. So, I feel like we accomplished everything we were really going to accomplish with that particular city. We were surviving quite well, and we were surviving all of the threats they were throwing at us, despite the fact that we started off out in an open field in the middle of nowhere, and didn't honestly have necessarily the resources you would normally associate with surviving in this game. So, I think we did a good job of doing what we could do in that. So, I hope you found this enjoyable. Yeah, people are eating these chocolate bars. If we go over here, I just wanted to do this. This is why I bought the stuff. So let's go into here with needs. If we look at his joy has actually, he's gluttonous apparently. But yeah, he actually ate some chocolate just recently, so that increases his happiness. I don't know why they're not moving the chocolate out of there, but like he got a bit of joy out of that, so. Anyway, I hope you found this episode enjoyable, and of course, as always, I hope to see you all next time.